Greetings, friends and enemies, and welcome back to Art by Flan. Today, we actually have something a little different. I feel like I say that every video, but in this particular case, it's very much true. I'm doing some lineless art, and I'm doing it a bit differently than I would normally approach it. I think I've done some lineless art here on my channel before. I think it was a rowlet, and I did it in Photoshop, where I used the pen tool to sort of block in all the shapes and work with it like that. Well, because I'm not using Photoshop as much, and I'm using not paint tool, sigh. Must be talking bad about me. My mom used to say, if you say a name, you don't mean to say they must be talking bad about you, but it's just sort of a joke. Anyway, since I'm using Clip Studio Paint more often than not these days, I wanted to sort of bring my lineless technique over to that program and see if I could still get the results I wanted to. So I used this sketch I did of Maya and some cute little lingerie. Hopefully it's not too risque for YouTube. You don't see no boobs or butts. Well, you see a side of a butt, but that's not the point. You don't see any full-on boobs or butts, so hopefully it passes the YouTube family censorship, whatever they got going on at this point in time. But I wanted to try doing it in Clip Studio Paint, so that's what I'm doing here. And if you see a second picture, if you've on my Instagram, it's familiar. If you see a second picture pop in and out, that's me pulling colors from a different picture I did where I liked the colors on her, so I'm recycling them and reusing them in this picture. So that's what the picture you see popping in and out of there. But rather than depending on the pen tool like I did in Photoshop, I actually focused on using, well, it's still the pen tool, but it's not the same. It's basically the brush tool in Photoshop and the pen tool and paint tool side. Because I'm so comfortable doing line art here, it's really nothing for me to draw, the edges of the lines and make sure everything looks nice and smooth as if I had done it with the pen tool in Photoshop. And for those of you who don't know, I used to do all of my line art with the pen tool in Photoshop, which is the one where you can draw shapes and fill them in or whatever. Before I had a tablet, that's what I used. I used that pen tool to get some nice, smooth, even line art, and then when I actually got my tablet, I practiced. Well, for a long time, I still did that because I wasn't good enough with the tablet. I won't say good enough. I wasn't practiced enough with the tablet to get the nice, smooth line art like I could with the pen tool. But then I got better with the tablet, and I stopped using the pen tool almost altogether after that, which I still use it occasionally, but not like I used to. It doesn't do the bulk of my art anymore. And that's definitely one thing I will say about learning to use a digital art tablet is you have to give yourself time to practice, especially if you've never used one before. You're not coming in knowing exactly how it works and exactly how it feels. And especially even if you're changing tablets, you have to give yourself time to readjust. Because my tablet's fairly old, the one I use. It's a Cintiq 12WX, which they don't even make anymore. So if I moved on to, say, a newer tablet, I say it's a 13 HD or whatever, there is a lot more pressure sensitivity on that thing than than the levels I have on my old ones. It would take me time to adjust. And even switching between my tablet at home, my Cintiq, and the tablet I use to say at work to doodle on my Surface, it's a different feeling. You have to give yourself time to get used to both of them. And so I finally felt like I was ready enough with line art and stuff in Clip Studio Paint to be able to achieve the look I wanted with the tools that I had in that program. So what you can see me doing here is going in and adding all the little details. I considered doing it with like shading, but I don't know. I didn't want that look. I guess I wanted this cute accentuating bits of line art that you can see me putting in here to sort of bring out the details in her and give her a more polished look. And plus it was fun to do it backwards from what I usually do, which is line art and then colors. This time I did colors and then the bare minimum line art that I had to do to bring to pop out those details. And I think even in the end, you can see I went back and added some like bits to like the pinks, some stripes, some feathers and stuff like that. I really liked this sketch, which was why I used it. Originally I was going to be like a piece on its own, but then I decided, no, I don't really want to do that. And then I was like, well, I really do like it and I really want to use it for something. And this just was the perfect opportunity because it has lots of things that I love. It has Maya, which is one of my favorite OCs. It has lots of floofy hair, which I love, and it has some flowing fabric, which I also love, and it also has lingerie, which again, I also love. Those are the core elements of my art. If you've seen anything I've posted on Instagram, it's pretty ladies in lingerie. And I know you need to branch out, you need to do other things. But listen, sometimes you just want to live in your comfort zone. And sexy ladies in lingerie with long flowing hair is my comfort zone. I blame Sailor Moon for that because a lot of Naoko's work was based on high fashion and lingerie. And obviously a lot of her characters had long flowing hair and absurd limbs. And that's just a habit I've never been able to break. I don't think it impacts my art negatively too much. It's just those are the aesthetics I like and want to keep in my art. Just sort of things I want to draw. Like everybody has their thing that they want to draw. For some people, it's pretty ladies in lingerie. For other people, it's kind of more gory stuff. For other people, it's, I don't know, trains or buses or something. Let me live my life. I can feel you judging me through the comment section right now. Just let a bitch live her life, okay? Another fun part of this was actually the transparent part. I knew I wanted that to be transparent when I drew it, and so I was kind of intimidated by it at first when I originally started blocking out the colors. It was like, oh, is this gonna look okay? Is it gonna look kind of weird and disjointed from everything? But honestly, it looks fantastic. I'm really happy with how it came out, and I really love I really love the colored line art, how that sort of softens it a bit more and makes it feel even lighter and flowier than it originally did. So I'm just changing the color of the line art to make everything blend a bit better, and we should be shifting on into the final piece. If you like what you see, don't forget that like button. You can subscribe for a new video, hit that bell if you want notifications or whatever. Special thanks to my patrons over on Patreon, Adri Scribbles and Parzavale, and of course, thanks to you guys watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.